Questions for Coach Nash? We will start off with Tom Dowd from BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Steve, just curious about a Jeff Green update. So he was still out for tomorrow, but we are 10 days out from that injury. Just curious if there was any reevaluation or any kind of timetable set.
Not really a timetable. He's just out for tomorrow and kind of day to day after that. So, just going to continue to monitor it and over the course of the next 2-3 days, hopefully get a clearer picture.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Steve, over these past couple of days, what have you kind of tried to go down on in terms of how to contain Giannis in particular? Because, he averaged 39.5 in the 3 regular season games. So what is there that you can possibly do to slow him down?
Yeah, I think, we'll have our game plan. We got to be sharp, but most importantly, we got to be competitive and together. And if we're really competitive and we play together, we have a chance for our game plan to be successful and to try to make it difficult for them. That's the bottom line. And then as we start the series, we were able to make adjustments, tweaks, and figure it out as we go to try to be more effective throughout the series.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Steve, what is Jeff able to do right now? And then without him, obviously, he's one of the defensive anchors of this team. How are you sort of evaluating? I know you've said defense by committee, but now that you have this in your mind for game 1, the defensive effort you need to put out without him.
Yeah. He's working out. I'm not really sure exactly. I shouldn't comment on that because in case I get it kind of wrong. But I definitely see him, with our strength and conditioning team and performance team doing his thing. We're down a player that is very versatile and can guard multiple positions and play different roles offensively. So it's a loss for us. But, we missed him the last few games, and we'll have to just continue to scrap and fight and put together good performances and try to win games while he's not here, and hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Steve. In game 1, when Jeff can't go, and further down the line, if there are further games that he can't play, does that put DJ back in the rotation, considering Giannis' size? And if not, how do you assess Nick's ability to guard him when really you've only seen Nick for a couple seconds on him?
Yeah, we're going to have to cover him by committee. There's going to multiple people will get a chance. DJ is definitely in play, Nick's in play, and BG as well. So it's going to be by committee. He's a terrific player, as we all know, and is a really difficult matchup for every team, and he'll be difficult for us. But we got to take the challenge.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, kind of piggybacking off of both Malika and Brian's questions, just what do you think it's an overreaction about Jeff Green being out and this team's ability to defend Giannis? Or you think you guys are going to be basically the same whether you had Jeff or not in terms of trying to slow him down?
I'm not sure we had Jeff earmarked to guard Giannis anyways. So we miss Jeff for his versatility and what he brings, versatility-wise, both sides of the ball. But I think he's, it wasn't necessarily earmarked to cover Giannis, but we will miss him in a lot of departments otherwise, for sure.
Jared Greenberg with Turner.
Hey, Coach, 2 questions for you here. The first is, obviously you accomplished your mission of moving on to the second round, but more than that, do you feel like you accomplished what you wanted to find out about this group of guys together as you're progressing forward? Did you accomplish those goals that you had set for your team?
I'm not sure there was any goals. It was like, the goal is to win and to improve. I thought we won, and I think we improved. I think that, the tangible nature of those goals is difficult to say. It's more about spending time playing, competing, feeling, what it's like out there with the kind of the fuller complement of our roster and getting that time in, So I thought it was a success in that we won, that we had some good performances. We learned a little bit about ourselves, I think, and we also spent that time that allows us to gain some understanding and cohesion that I think is clearly what we lack.
And then the second is, obviously you have an incredibly talented cast of players, but when you specifically just look at Giannis versus Durant, regardless of how much time they actually spend on one another, did you get an appreciation, especially back from your days, on how many times you had to go up against other Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers about how special this type of matchup can be or is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we obviously have three outstanding offensive players. They have three outstanding players as well. They have a great supporting cast. They have a continuity and that kind of corporate knowledge and common experiences. We have a great supporting cast as well, and it's fascinating. It'll be interesting to see how the matchups shake out, how teams are able to cope with one another, and to see the story of the series. So I'm just excited to see where this goes, where our team's able to take our growth and development, and how we're able to adapt to the demands of the Bucks in this series.
Justin Walters with Pix 11 News.
Steve, yesterday Joe referred to Drew Holiday as one of the best on-ball defenders, especially at the guard position in the league. Was wondering what you've seen for him on that side of the ball and what makes him so bothersome.
Yeah, I mean, we all obviously respect how good a defender Drew is. He has the strength, size, speed, and agility. So he's incredibly versatile, physical defender, and we've seen it for years how good he is defensively. So, definitely a huge part of his skill set and been a big addition to the Bucks.
Back to Christian Winfield.
Following up on my last question, Coach, just when you lose a guy like Jeff for however long he's out and he's so versatile, as you mentioned, does losing that versatility make you change your game plan at all or what you want to do on the floor? Or is it just you keep the same game plan and philosophy no matter who's out there?
I think the game plan and philosophy is the same. We just have one less kind of button to push as far as matchups and rotations. We're maybe a touch less versatile without Jeff. So, but nothing necessarily changes when Jeff comes back. Just perhaps our options of matchups and the layers of which we can go to different schemes or I'm not even sure the schemes is appropriate. It's more just the matchups. We have a guy that can guard multiple positions. We can plug into different lineups, and he can give us a different look at both ends of the floor. So, we definitely miss his versatility.
Last question, Steve Lichtenstein with WFAN.
Hi, Steve. Yesterday, Ryan asked you about your well-known competitive fire. In that regard, this year come down to something as little as free throws, and Giannis has been known to flirt with the 10-second rule. Are you someone who cares that the referees adhere to that strictly? You want to hear the Barclays Center crowd count down the clock, or do you just not care about that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's not top of mind. It's interesting. It's a rule. So I don't know. Are we enforcing it or not? But it's not like high on my priority list. Focused on the things that we do and how can we improve at what we're doing and how can our team continue to develop and grow. That's by far my concern and priority. That doesn't really, I don't think, crack my top 10. I mean, interested to know what they do with that, if they continue to call it or not. But, I actually hadn't thought about it in our 3 days of prep here since the last series.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.